Hello everyone. Today I'm going to continue the same chapter that I have started in the last video, that is chapter 1 from class 6 science book. The name of the chapter is food. So in the previous video we have already discussed about food and its importance. Next, variety of food, ingredients of food. These two topics we have already discussed in the last video. Next, sources of food. This topic is also discussed in the last video. But I will start from this topic, sources of food, in this video. So let's continue with this topic. So in the last video, I already told you about the sources of food. That is, we have two important source of food, that is plants and animals. We get food from two main sources, that is plants and animals. From plants we get, for example, vegetables, fruits, rice, wheat, etc. and etc. Okay. And from animals we get milk, chicken, egg, meat, etc. So till here we have discussed in the last video. So let's move on to another topic. Now, as I have discussed, the plants give us vegetables, fruits, and animals give us meat, milk, eggs, honey, etc. So in plants, the parts that we can eat is also termed as edible parts. Okay, in plants, the parts that we can eat is also termed as edible. That is edible. What is edible? The parts that we can eat or we can get from plants is known as edible. Next is, we'll discuss about honey. Okay, how is honey collected? Who collects the honey? Honey is being collected by honeybees. They collect the nectar from the flower. Okay, they collect the nectar. The nectar is the sweet juice of flowers. They collect the nectar from the flower and then they store it and make it honey. Now, what is nectar? Nectar, it is the sweet juice of plants It is the sweet juice of plants, that is sucked by the honeybees to honey. Now, what is nectar? It is the sweet juice of plants that is collected by the honeybees to produce honey. Okay. Next is sprout. What is a sprout? To understand this word, we have to do an experiment. Okay, this one your home with the help of some cotton, some grams and water. Okay, for this what we have to do is we have to soak some grams in water overnight, and after that we have to put it on the cotton, wet cotton before. Okay, we have to put it on the cotton and keep it for 2-3 days, but we have to water it in times of intervals. Okay, so what we will observe after 2 or 3 days, that is a white structure will come out of that gram. This white structure is known as sprout. Okay, what is a sprout? A white structure which we can see when we soak some grams or other seed. After 2 or 3 days we can observe some white structure is coming out of that seed. Okay, that structure is known as sprout, or the seed is known as sprouted seed. To 4 days. When the white structure comes out, when you put some gram in water for 2 to 3 days, the structure is called sprout or sprouted seed. When a seed is soaked in water, the white structure comes out. The time period is known as, or the process is known as, that is germination of seed. Germination of seed. Okay, our next topic is types of organisms on the basis of their food habits. Okay, types of organisms. There are 3 types of organisms on the basis of their food habits. What are they? They are carnivores, herbivores and omnivores. Okay, types of organisms on the basis of their food habits are carnivores, herbivores and omnivores. Now what are these? Carnivores, herbivores and omnivores. Which organisms are called carnivores? The organisms that can eat, the organisms eat only meat are called carnivores. For example, this is the example of carnivore. Which animal eat only flesh or meat? That is lion or tiger, etc. Right? Now, next is herbivores. Which organisms are called herbivores? The organism which is only plant and plant products called herbivores. Now give me an example of herbivore. That is the organisms that eat only plants and plant products. That is, for example, goat, cow, etc. Next is omnivores. Organisms that eat both plant and animal products are called omnivores. For example, human beings. For example, human beings and crow. Etc. Okay. Depending upon on their food habits, the animals or the organisms can be divided into three categories. That is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores are those organisms which eat only plant and plant products, whereas carnivores are those organisms that can eat flesh or only meat, okay, animal products. Whereas omnivores are those organisms which can eat both plant and animal product. Okay, this chapter is completed. So we'll have a quick revision in this chapter. And first we have read about food. Okay, what is food? Anything that we eat to get energy from it is termed as food. Next is importance of food. What are the importance of food? It helps us to perform our daily activities. It helps in our growth and development. It keeps us healthy. Okay. It provides protection against infection and other bacteria. Next is variety of food. There are variety of food, as I have already told you, that in different regions of our country or in the world, people eat different kind of food. For example, in our India itself, in the North India, the people mostly likes to eat sambar and dosa, etc. Whereas in the North India, people are much fond of other food like pizza, burger, and other stuff. Okay, next is sources of food. What are the sources of food? There is two main sources of food for every organism, that is plants and animals. Plants and animals are the two main sources of food from where we can get our food. Okay, for example, plants provide us Plants provide us vegetables, fruits, etc. And animals provide us chicken, milk, honey, and other stuff. Plants are also known as producers, as they can prepare their own food with the help of a process called photosynthesis. Okay, and they are also called producers, whereas animals, they cannot produce their own food, prepare their own food, therefore they are called consumers. Animals are also known as autotrophs. Animals are also known as heterotrophs, whereas plants are known as autotrophs. Now what is nectar? It is the sweet juice of plant which is used by the honeybees to prepare honey. Now what is edible? The parts of a plant that we can eat is known as edible parts. What is a sprout? Okay, the white structure that comes out of a seed when it is soaked in water for more than 2 or 3 days is termed as sprout. Now on the basis of their food habits, organisms are divided into 3 main categories, that is herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Herbivores, example is goat, cow, etc. Carnivores, example like lion, tiger, and omnivores, example we have human beings, crows, etc. So I'll give you some questions. Okay, define carnivores, give 2 examples. Define herbivores, give 2 examples each, and define omnivores, give 2 examples. And next is what are edible substances. Thank you.